You are watching a special presentation from Tinkle Group Gaming. Daytona International Raceway. We are back here today for the first points event of the season. Technically, I guess you could say. But here we are. It is the Blue-Green Vacation Duels at Daytona. Hello guys, Brian here in the booth with you, and of course, let me move my mic. We're being professional looking today because we got a big race ahead here in the Jello Cup Series. Of course, we know there are 3 drivers that are currently locked in based on their qualifying speeds. There are 4 spots up for grabs, as well as third and fourth going into the main event on Sunday afternoon. So, of course, the big story, though, is going to be Zach Fitzwater. Of course, he has to race his way in on speed. Okay, he has to race his way in today in the duels, because if he does not, he will have to use a champion's provisional. So how it's going to work for Zach Fitzwater is if he does not race his way in, those second transfer positions in duels 1 and 2, it'll come down to who was the fastest in qualifying from Wednesday night to determine which of those 2 will advance, and the other one would join the rest of the drivers who failed to qualify, while Zach Fitzwater would get in, replacing the slowest of them in getting that 40th starting position. But of course, we got a long ways to go. We got a lot to figure out, so let's not waste any more time. Let's show you the starting lineup for Blue-Green Vacation Duel number 1. Of course, we know Alexander Underwood. He will start on the pole for the 500. He will also start on pole for today's event in Duel number 1. Daniel Voiles, he will start in second. Then, of course, we got Nick Martinez, Max Anderson, Eli Wolf. And, of course, Martinez and Wolf both locked in. And as we look on down the rest of the grid, we know Parker Jones Jr., Sametos Khan, Logan Williams, Mohammed Zain Abdullah, Michael Brown, Pretty Shaw, Parker Smith, and Dan Hummel. They will all have to race their way in duel number 1. Now, how does duel number 2 stack up? Well, we can tell you that one too. Brittany White will start on the front row with Michael Hoax. But of course, Reggie Fogelman, Nate Ormond. Jackie Smith is the only driver locked in. That is racing in duel number 2. And then, of course, battling for that spot, of course, you see the asterisk or the star next to Zach Fitzwater's name. That means he has got the champion's provisional. So if Nick Hershey, Aubrey Scott, Carlos Sanchez, Christian Bracken, Chad Bedford, and Brian James cannot race their way in with the first transfer spot, they could be in danger to Zach Fitzwater in terms of replacing them on the grid. Alright, that's your starting lineups for the duels. We'll refresh you in a couple seconds on that. Of course, we want to get down trackside because the green flag is going to wave very soon in duel number 1. So we'll take you to that, and we'll be right back here on Tinkle Group Gaming in just a moment. Here we go. Here we go, guys. We're ready to go racing here for the opening duel. The starting lineup for this one is on the left-hand side of your screen. Of course, the drivers that are locked in, they are highlighted in in green, and the drivers who have to qualify on time, you can see at the back there, they are highlighted in yellow. And here we go, 12 laps to determine who will make the field for the 500 and who will start in third. Also some points up for grabs for anyone who finishes in the top 10. No doubt these drivers are thinking about that. At least the full-time ones are. Pace car is off. Alex Underwood, Daniel Voiles. The green flag is out. We're racing at Daytona. Dick Clark made a mistake. He tried to go low and fit into that hole. It wasn't there, and now he's stuck in the middle. And at least a few cars are joining him. But here we go. Skylar Martinez, he locked in qualifying yesterday. He now moves to the lead with help from Eli Wolf, the other one who was locked in no matter what. And Martinez will lead the opening lap. No points for leading laps in this one. You do have to finish top 10, though, to get points. As now Eli Wolf goes to the lead. Here comes Ali Liara and Austin Shaw. The Subarus going to the bottom. The two of them that are in, Austin Shaw and Dave James, they are looking low. Oh man, they might force 4 wide and they'll think better of it. But Eli Wolf is well in front of this pack right now. Right now, Parker Jones, the top go homer at the moment. And it would appear that the 62 rather, of Michael Brown is the second one in that line. So he's the second one that would be in at the moment. Dave James has gotten free. No line is really established at this point, but the top 2 are, and now they're going to battle for the lead. Dave James looking inside. He wants the points, and he'll get it, and I believe there's 2 playoff points for grabs here too. I'll have to double check the rules from previous seasons. And they're still side by side. Eli Wolf has the edge down the back straight. But here comes the 47 of Kevin Howard. Three wide for the lead. Here comes the 98 Parker Jones Jr. He has led the go-or-go-homers for a bit now. Michael Brown is the second in line. Then you got Trackhouse's Parker Smith in third right now. Pretty Shaw in fourth of the go-or-go-homers. I gotta tell you, it's looking good for those 4 right there. Possibly even Dan Hummel. And Parker Jones is looking for the lead. J.J. Bell will lead this lap. Wild stuff going on. 3 wide all through the pack. A little bit of 4 wide action at the back. But it would appear, for now, Parker Jones Jr. will go to the lead. And he is the top go-or-go-homer right now. Michael Brown looking inside. And that'll push Project 91's Parker Smith to the front. Mohammed Zain Abdullah also back there. Again, you want to be the first lock-in position, because if you are not, then if Zach Fitzwater does not race his way in duel number 2, you could be the one going home if you had the slowest lap time in qualifying amongst the go-or-go-homers. So that's something you got to think about here. It's going to come down to who had the worst position in qualifying that could go home if Fitzwater does not race his way in. So these guys are going to be jockeying for that top spot right now. And it looks like the 91 is going to lead this lap, coming to 5 to go. But the 42, Pretty Shaw, is in the best position. So is the 25 of Dan Hummel. Although technically, he's in the worst position. He was the slowest of everybody in qualifying. He needs to be the top guy right now if he wants any shot at this. Cam Arkman the leader right now, but Pretty Shaw looking for it. Oh, they might go 4 wide for the lead. Dan Hummel's forced low. He's going to have to merge back up. Oh, he won't do so safely. 25 is around, the caution flag is out, and this might spell overtime for the Duels. Racing back to the line. Three to go. This will mean overtime in the Duels. And let's go see what happened. The wreck that might have taken quite a few cars out of this race here. Dan Hummel trying to merge back onto the track and unfortunately pushes up just a tad too far. And he gets into the 28, and this causes a pileup here toward the back of the pack. Daniel Voil's going to save it. Samet Ozkan in the 67 of Logan Williams, not so lucky up in front here. Eli Wolf involved too. Of course, it's going to be interesting to see who does DNF in this, because if anybody DNFs, they will go to the rear for the 500. Big one here will force overtime. We'll be back with that in just a moment. Welcome back. It is overtime presented by Mitchell's Memes. The pace car is going to peel off. We will have unlimited attempts to get this race finished. Pretty Shaw, Michael Brown, the two leading the race. They are also in the transfer spots as we're back underway. And the biggest question I had is, would those two help each other? I don't think we're going to see that happen at all. They both want this top spot to ensure their position in the 500. Again, once the leader takes the white, the race ends. Oh, the 42 shoved up. This is going to open the door. Down low, the 7, Nikolai Sykes to the lead. Keep an eye on that 25 back there. Same with the 67. They both need to race their way in. White flag, 1 lap of racing to go, presented by Mitchell's Memes. Oh, it's getting chaotic. 65 is shoved out of line. And the field is now split. Pretty Shaw is still the driver in control of the transfer spot. But it has split the field up. Here comes Mohammed Zain Abdullah. One last push to get into the 500. Ali Liara looking low. She wants to win the duel. Through 4. Who's it going to be? They will come to the line this time. Daniel Voiles. He's going to win the duel at Daytona. The Blue-Green Vacation Duel. And how's about that start for the Stewart-Haas Racing team? They get the job done. And for certain, we know Pretty Shaw will race on Sunday. Congratulations to the 42. They get in to the Daytona 500 with Legacy Motor Club. Samet Ozkan, his teammate, though, unfortunately will go home, and we will await the fate of the 62 of Michael Brown. He narrowly holds off Mohammed Zain Abdullah. So Mohammed Zain Abdullah will go home. So will Parker Smith, Logan Williams, Dan Hummel. And then, of course, we know the 98 of Parker Jones Jr. will also go home, unfortunately. But again, we will await the fate of Michael Brown. It'll all depend on Zach Fitzwater, and it's going to come up in just a moment with duel number 2 here from Daytona. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back. The starting lineup for duel number 2 is on the left-hand side of your screen. Of course, same thing. The one driver that is locked in is highlighted in green. The rest highlighted in yellow, meaning they have to race their way in today. And one of them, of course, is Zach Fitzwater. All eyes will be on that 16 as he will continue his quest to try to make the field without using a provisional to get into the 500. The pace car is off. Brittany White, Michael Hoax will go to the Geico restart zone. We're racing at Daytona. Here goes Reggie Fogelman. He's looking for the lead. And he's got Nathan Orman behind him, the rookie for Trackhouse. Of course, his teammate won't be racing later today, Parker Smith, or on Sunday rather, Parker Smith. His teammate, though, Charles Sanford, is in the field for this one. He's locked in as well. How's about Jackie Smith? She's not giving up even though she's locked in. Fogelman will lead the opening lap. Look at how far he is ahead of those two lines there. Nick Hershey is currently the driver in that transfer position. You can see Fitzwater has dropped to the back. And again, being that first transfer is important, because if it's not Fitzwater, that's that first transfer, it's going to come down to qualifying position. from yesterday to determine who the second to last transfer will be amongst the two drivers that did land in that second spot. And the best one will stay, the worst one will be replaced by Fitzwater himself. Here goes Aubrey Scott, 4 wide. Jackie Smith's going to want to get out of there. But Aubrey Scott holds the transfer position now. Chad Bedford, he's looking for the second one, but again, he needs to be the first one. Otherwise, we can guarantee Michael Brown is going to be in the field. Same with Brian James back there in the 05. He needs to be that first transfer. Battle for the lead is on Brittany White. She'll start second no matter what, but she wants to win the duel and get the points. So as of now, it's the 50 and the 26 that hold the transfer positions. But here comes the 05 and the 9. Carlos Sanchez in the 9, Brian James in the 05. Christian Bracken looking for the lead with help from Charles Sanford. That outside lane seems to be working. But Brittany White will hang on for the time being. Aubrey Scott, again, the top transfer right now, as we're past the halfway mark of duel number 2. Brian James currently holds that second transfer spot, but he would go home at the moment. He needs to be the first one. Brian James now takes over that top transfer position. Five to go here in duel number 2. Keep an eye to that inside. That is Zach Fitzwater pacing in the middle of that inside lane with a few Chevys. And he now moves into the second transfer position, which is exactly what Michael Brown wants to see. Things looking good for the 16 as we got a battle for the lead. Brian James, Brittany White. And Brian James will take over the race lead here as we come to 4 to go this time. And it's looking good for Brian James. The 3 lines behind him, all side by side. But now the 88's going to force his way down low. The 16 in the middle. And now you see the 05 has been moved high. As Roberto Crown Jr. now to the race lead. Here comes the 41 of Nick Voiles. He is hoping for the Voiles and Stuart Haas to sweep the duels. 3 to go. Fitzwater currently holds the top transfer spot. Can Brian James hang on in that second one to the deep outside? I don't think so, because here comes Nick Hershey on that inside. The third RFK entry. Here we go. We come to 2 to go this time. Nick Voiles continues to lead. But Roberto Crown Jr., he's going to lead this lap. Brian James, the top transfer position right now. That 05 might just barely sneak in. Because all 3 lanes are about even right now. Mitchell Collins looking inside. Now it's going to be 3 wide all the way deep. And not anymore. Brian James, Zach Fitzwater battling for those 2 transfer spots. Both of them battling for the top one. They don't even need to battle right now. White flag, 1 lap of racing to go, presented by Mitchell's Memes. The battle for the lead is intense. Nick Voiles trying hard to get that top spot. Nick Hershey hoping that inside lane can get moving, because that is his only hope of making the 500. Here we go. To 3 and 4 for the final time. All 3 lanes are established right now. And it looks like Zach Fitzwater and Brian James are going to advance to the 500. Out of 4. Nick Voiles, Roberto Crown Jr. to the line. Roberto Crown Jr. takes the duel. Congratulations to the 88. He gets the job done. Just barely to that outside. And everybody can breathe a sigh of relief. Zach Fitzwater. He is in the field for the Daytona 500. And guess what? So is that 05 of Brian James. Sunday morning tinkle car is in. And let's go back real quick and show you just where they stacked in that finish. Oh my goodness. We're going to show you this as we show you the results. Roberto, crowned by a fender, gets him. Nick Voiles will have to settle for second, but he'll start in 6th in the Daytona 500. A great run for him. Of course, we know Michael Hoeks finished 3rd, Mitchell Collins 4th. Jackie Smith stays in the top 5. Great effort for that 78. Then you got the 2 Colleague cars, Aaron Jeter and Zach Fitzwater. Teammates will start up front for the 500. Michael Collins, Brian James, and unfortunately for Carlos Sanchez, he will go home. But he was oh so close to the 500. Just look how close they were. And then as you look on down the list, man, Brittany White had a good run early, couldn't get back there. Nick Hershey had the preferred lane, we thought, but that inside lane just could not move. And Nick Hershey will go home. as will the 50 of Aubrey Scott, and we will not have any Hondas in the Daytona 500. Chad Bedford joining his teammates in going home. Just unfortunate across the board. Congratulations to Roberto Crown. Congratulations to Zach Fitzwater and Brian James. They will race on Sunday. We want to thank you for watching. Tune in tomorrow for final practice. And otherwise, we will see you back here on YouTube for the Daytona 500 on Sunday. Until then, goodbye, everyone.